heard so far, it sounds like that they're going to let you hear. The grand jury's already heard and determined that there was probable cause.
Yeah, okay.
So it seems nothing more than an attempt for the court to change what the grand jury did, and that's not how the system works.
I'm looking, hold on, this package, it says, it's dated November 29th of 2020, and it's to the grand jury. It was, I guess, presented to them on or about that date. They indicted the defendant the next day, November 30th.
Yes, sir.
And it ends with an affidavit from the defendant dated November 28th of 2022, 2 days
That was a bold attempt
before. So,
unfortunately, the syndicate managed to go into hiding. Knowing you, I'm sure that you have new ideas in mind to make sure that they won't be so lucky next time.
The implication that I heard, Judge, is that we've been provided all this information. The reality is all that information went to the grand jury, who basically chose not to believe it and indicted the defendant. So, what the counsel is apparently been trying to do the same thing.
Yeah, Mr. Wood, help me out on this one, because it's got your cover letter to the grand jury. Okay, it's dated November 29th. Package.
Judge House submitted to the office such their discovery portal as having been provided to them such that it could be provided to the grand jury. It's my understanding that Ms. Lesniak provided it to the grand jury on the date they considered indicting Mr. Tovar.
Okay.
And Your Honor, I'm not trying to relitigate probable cause. However, Judge, you have said in prior matters that the nature of the allegations in conjunction with this prior conviction was the court's reason
you missed it.
for increased bond. And so what I'm trying to show the court is that there are substantial facts and circumstances surrounding this allegation that leave questions whether or not probable cause exists, and the grand jury determined that it did, is material, Judge, but it's also material for the court to be aware of some of these other matters in determining what type of bond amount is sufficient in this case with
You're putting on evidence here that's package, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And the grand jury, as far as you know, considered it and nonetheless voted to true bill the defendant, stating probable cause existed for the indictment.
As far as I'm aware, they had access to it.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so.
Eeny, mighty shotgun!
Decided to indict the probable cause to believe that defendant committed this offense with this defense material that you're presenting today, and you're asking me to substitute my judgment for the grand jury with the same information the grand jury had?
I'm asking the court to consider these additional facts and circumstances when determining an appropriate bond until Mr. Tovar can be brought to trial.
Yes. But these, again, this is all information that the grand jury had, and as far as you know, considered it.
As far as I'm concerned.
And they elected to indict the defendant with whatever information they had before them, including this, what you call, it might be Brady material.
Provided to the state, so I don't think I have necessarily an obligation to provide it back to me, but
it's Brady under the Brady decision, exculpatory information. All right.
and I believe that in
So what are you presenting to me different today in this hearing that wasn't before the grand jury?
I'm not presenting anything to you, Your Honor.
Okay.
I am asking you for those circumstances regarding the amount of the bond in this case.
Okay, so, let's see. I have a history of this. So, the bond in this case began how?
So the bond was initially set by a magistrate, Your Honor, I believe at $150,000.
Okay.
And we requested a hearing for reduction. At the hearing, the court decided to increase the bond at a number of conditions regarding to if he was ever able to post bond. As the court's aware, he's been sitting in 100 days awaiting trial, and given the information that the court was unaware of, that this court was unaware of in setting the bond amount, I believe it was important for the court to know of the existence of this information.
The court increased the bond of what? And we increased it because of a prior conviction that we found out about that is, strangely enough, not listed in the indictment. So what happened is that the magistrate who set the bond obviously probably was not aware of the prior conviction. So he made she made the decision based upon the four corners of the indictment. And that is the question, why wasn't the prior conviction in the indictment as an enhancement?
Is there a ship?
Find him and take him.
Brings up the consequences, what about the money? An additional account wouldn't have changed that. That does not mean we won't present it in punishment, but certainly it's not going to change what the punishment rate is going to be. Just my opinion. I was not involved in making that decision.
No.
That's what makes most sense.
Yeah. It's always been a practice that probably a Boy Scout idea prior conviction in there because the continuous may not prove it. There might be a lesser included offense that ends up being elected as guilt by the jury, and then you don't have an enhancement ready notice in the indictment to go forward. I guess that can be covered later with a notice before a trial. But anyway, so we assume the magistrate did not know of the prior conviction. It was that prior conviction that was made aware to this court that caused the enhancement, since bond conditions and not only circumstances of the alleged offense, but also criminal history, especially when it's similar in nature. So it was originally set at how much? And then I set it to,
I believe, 200.
Added 100,000 to it. Okay.
Moral conditions.
Can anyone see him?
Yeah.
It happens every time you do
Yeah.
these companies.
Well, I'm not. There's nothing yet that I've heard that changes my opinion, nor does it surprise. That's what would have been reasonable for me to do in my history of the way I deal with bond issues. And also, one magistrate, the more information you have about the circumstances of criminal history, the better a decision is made.
It's a rude soundstorm.
So, it is
So you went.
also when you have a similar type of offense conviction, and that hasn't been considered for bond, it be considered, and that's what the court did. Then applied an increase based upon that. That's what makes sense, because I've been trying to figure out why it got to this. And once again, this finding, this State's Exhibit 2, the court has heard enough on this to find, since I can be able to get a lot of information out of the grand jury, it would only make reasonable that they considered this information like a good grand jury would before they made a decision, and decided, notwithstanding this information, the defendant has provided a State's Exhibit 2, which the defendant considers as exculpatory. Whatever information the grand jury, other information that they had, it overcame this exculpatory material and resulted in one of the most serious types of allegations and charges that can be rendered under Texas law. This is first-degree felony, continuous. So, what else do you want to provide? Because I see where we are on all of this, and if it's matters that are within the State's Exhibit 2, we don't need to rehash that, because those were considered by a fact finder already and resulted in probable cause determination, which is satisfactory to me. And then it's the additional criminal history that becomes the reasoning behind the increase in bond, which to this moment this court deems reasonable.
Would be further listed and would be contained within.
Okay.
Again.
All right. It'll be made a part of the record depending on what you want to do with it in posterity here. But I've looked through it, and I can see that a lot of this information that I've heard already is this package of documents that, again, the grand jury received, presumed to have considered before they rendered
Let me know when you're ready to
probable
continue.
cause finding of this indictment.
So, and again, Judge, it wasn't that we're attempting to overcome the probable cause finding, but just that we believe those circumstances, that the court should be aware of those circumstances, fixing the amount of the bond in this case, especially the defendant's inability to secure a bond.
Right.
But I note for the court that this particular
What I'm going to do is read through these completely, so that I'm fully informed. I'll let you know what happens upon that, which will be done in 24 hours.
Okay. I'll pass witness.
Anything else?
I have no question.
This lady can be excused. Thank you. Anything else?
No, no.
All right. Well, anything from the state? What we'll do is end the hearing, and I will make a decision tomorrow on after I read this and inform everybody. What's the next event? Trial. When is it set right now?
I don't think it currently has a setting. I think Lacey was going to put it on the trial.
Well, let's make sure that it gets set on the trial docket, and because these should be fast-tracked, these kinds of cases, and especially languishing in jail. Here's State's Exhibit 1 and 2 for this hearing. Anything else? We are in recess then. Thank you.
So my question is, was this presented to the grand jury? I know there's people saying, well, we think it. Welcome to looking at legal stuff.
just got a call from the hospital saying my parents were in a...
Welcome to Rebel Chaser. My name is Gail, and I have a video for you.
William, I just got a call from the hospital saying my parents... So now, it sounds like it's really bad.
What? Right now? We have to go see a movie, remember? We already bought the tickets. So excited about it.
This is not the time to be talking about that. My parents could be in danger. I don't care about some movie right now. My family's lives are...
Yeah, but is it time to get her just as important? I have to pay the cancellation. Honestly, even if I went to the hospital, there's nothing I...
What do you mean there's nothing you can do? Guy's family at a time like this? What are you even prioritizing?
Mom, no need to get that upset. But if we go to the hospital, we'll just be waiting around. We won't know the situation until later anyway. So I think it's fine if we go after the movie. It's not like I'm not worried, but panicking now won't, right?
Are you seriously saying that, thinking it's the right thing to do? My parents might be in a dangerous right now, and you're worried about a movie and cancellation fee? Is that really so important?
Well, yeah, it's important, right?